HD. You feel me? Start the clock. That's what I want. I want this to look nice. I done paid for the service. I'm about to use it. You feel me? I want every bit of this pixel. I want all the resolution. That's what I want. I want all the resolution. All right. I started this live, but I also am going to do something before I even start doing this. I've definitely been delaying because I have only a few hours left to get this application done. And I'm acting like I got all the time in the world. But TBH, there's a part of it where it's like I just kind of want to show folks my process for applying to things. I don't take it too seriously. The other part is that I have a lot of the assets already created, because when you start applying to things all the time, you'll just end up with plenty of materials to work with. So what's up, everybody? I'm applying to the Tech Accelerator first, and then I have therapy today, and I also want to go on a bike ride. So I think I'll probably be on for an hour. I'm gonna go ride my bike, and then I probably will be back on again tonight at 8, and then from 8 to 12, so another 4 hours. So good things indeed. But I also I'm about to post another video on my Instagrams. So I'm trying to pull up. I don't even remember what I called that, John. What did I call that last video? Yeah, how to win anything. Bet. How you doing? How y'all feeling? Where y'all coming from? You feel me? Talk to me. Cause right now I am streaming on my YouTube. You're up here. I'm streaming on my YouTube, my Instagram, and my Twitch channels. If at any point in time you notice there is another species in the room with me, said species is likely going to make herself apparent at some point, but she is now comfortably sitting on top of my camera. You know, it's always interesting how animals just choose the most expensive things to make their landing pads. You know? It's wild how they choose it like that. Oh, you in the Bahamas? Oh, that's fire. That's fire. I feel like I got so many people, like so many international folks who are following me now, right? And that one's is a bit of a surprise for me. I'm like, wow, I really got folks from overseas. Bahamas. Shout out to you. Yeah. I'm gonna many men wish death upon me. Fire. I don't know what it is, but I know it's gonna be fire. I'm gonna just like this so I can watch it later. Okay. Come on, ADHD. I need you to click on, my guy. I need you to click on. Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna. All right, is it on my? That's the only con. It's going great. What's up, Texas? Pleasure to see you. It is going great. You know, I am trying to create this platform. If anyone is interested, like I've been applying to programs for many years. Tony, hi, pleasure. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Nice to see you. But I've been applying to programs consistently, mainly because it's been my main source of income for many years. But I am developing a platform right now called wingrants.io. And that platform is something you could use where you literally just put the URL of whatever you're applying for in there and click analyze, and it will do all of the research and the strategic insights so that you have the competitive advantage to winning. That's essentially what I'm developing. And I've been doing it by kind of I don't know how I say this, like recording my thought process as I go through a grant application. So what I think when I see certain words, I've also taken like things in terms of like if I see words, like if I see that they use a lot of verbs or if they use a lot of contrasting syllables or things like that, like that's how deep it goes. Because the coolest thing about the way you, if you analyze data, what you can get back is that any brand or funder that's talking, they are expressing exactly how they feel and what they want, but you also have to be able to read between the lines, right? And find out what is the most important thing to them. And you can do that by something like, and I don't even think people's brains be functioning like this sometimes, which is why I was like, yo, I built this for myself so that I can win more. And then I showed it to somebody and they was like, bruh, that's crazy. And I was like, you don't think like this? That ain't how your brain function. But think about it like this, because if let's say you had a funder and they consistently, even though on the grant application they don't say it, but let's say in their YouTube interviews they talk about economic mobility. Maybe that's the thing that they talk about so often inside of their interviews on YouTube, or maybe on their social media channel, or maybe even on their Facebook. They talk about things that are super important to them. Now, I'm developing the software that scours the internet for every piece of information that they have ever said, anything that they've ever done. It takes those language insights and then creates this dashboard that is easy for someone to understand and read. So you can literally like research. If you're applying for anything, you already know research takes hours. It could take weeks depending on what you're actually researching. Like you got to know who the funder is, you got to know who they chose before, you got to know all these things. I am cutting that down to nothing. When I tell you I'm cutting that down to nothing, peep this real quick. Peep this real quick. I'm going to show you guys the demo. Look at this. This is how simple it is. You go to the website, you drop in the URL, and everything I just said is already happening. These are all the things that I would search, right? And probably even things that people don't even search when they're applying for something. I'm going through the past awardees because that right there is game. All right. I watch their YouTube channels. I get all the transcripts. I read their press releases, the news coverage, aggregate every social profile on the internet, and then read between the lines of all of that content to then develop a dashboard that's going to give me everything I need to know to win. Oh, my goodness, where has this been? Bruh, do you hear me? Do y'all? Maybe y'all don't see the if y'all ain't never seen this happen before in your life, I'm telling you right here, right now. Different, okay? Different. Sometimes I'll be like actually feeling some type of way of the fact that the way technology be advancing, you know, I used to have to, I record my joint on a cassette tape, man. I used to have to wait to watch my TV and record it on a VHS. It'd be moments like this where I'd be just like, yo, I'm from the olden age. I'm literally from the olden age. All right, I gotta fit. Wait, what was I using before? The disregard how this is about to look crazy right now because I gotta get myself back to what I was doing. All right, cool. I'm back to what I was doing. But yeah, that's how crazy this is. That's how crazy it is. Hi, Miss Parker Speets. Pleasure. Don't even worry. A lot of folks are new to my content. All right. A lot of folks are new here. Most of the people are new here. So what I will say though is that you are early to the show. You are early to the show because it's really I've been doing content for I picked up a camera when I was 13, but like I didn't get serious traction on social media until like the last 60 days. So welcome in. Where are you from? And do you speak? And by speak, I mean like maybe like a motivational speaking or maybe keynotes or something like that. Either way, let me know where you're from. And I'm gonna try to get this out because here's the thing, and this is something where I'm like, oh, you in LA? Oh, what? I'm about to have to slide through. Yeah, I might have to do so. I was just literally talking to a grant writer over there in LA. He was like, "Yo, you got to come over here." I was like, "Yeah, you right. I haven't." Oh, you a poet? You know I'm a poet. That's literally what I've been doing. Everything behind me, every single grant that I won was as a poet. Was it everyone as a poet? I'm pretty sure all of them were. I've been doing poetry professionally for the last 6 years, and it's like over the last I think I started making videos in February just about all the grants that I won so that I was able to be a poet. Cuz it's like, where you going to make money as a poet? You know what I'm saying? Where how are you going to do that? And the thing is that most, and I'm not like, this is also the thing too, is that most artists, right, when they decide that they want to make their art a business or a career, they typically go down a traditional path, and I just was never that kind of person. So if you're like, let's say you're a poet, a lot of the traditional path was you write a book, you go to open mic, you feature, you know what I mean? And that's kind of like the path that you take. Like, what other places, can you actually do that in? But like, I wasn't the same. So I did a poem for CBS, right? So I was doing television commercials, and it won an Emmy in 2021. And then I did television commercials for the CDC. That was Emmy nominated. We ain't win the Emmy that year. I forgot which one of the other one won, but it was pretty good. And first time I went overseas as a poet was as a cultural ambassador for the U.S. Department of State. In 2022, I became a cultural diplomat. I didn't even know that was a thing. By the way, if you're an artist and you have no idea what cultural diplomacy is, search it up. It's very different with this administration than the last, but I will say it's still an option. Um, so I would say that you got to look into that. Definitely look into cultural diplomacy. That is the way. All right, because that is a fancy way of saying that you are a traveling artist for the U.S. And the first place that I went was Dubai. That one. I went to the World Expo, and I performed at the World Expo, and they literally, it was almost like they set up a whole international tour and then paid me to do it. Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, you know what's crazy? Every single person that has joined like my Instagram page would be like, "Your energy is contagious." He's like, "You got a lot of energy." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, man. We gotta." I feel like I have to give this kind of energy to my work because this is where I'm at. Like, mind you, my office is fire, but I'm still in four walls. You know what I'm saying? Like, my office is really fire. You know what I mean? I made it to be my little space. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you in Dubai? Yo, I was there. I was there. It's crazy because like that was the most nervous I was ever, going somewhere. Right. And it was because like one, it was my first time performing internationally. Two, it was almost like imposter syndrome because I'd never performed on a stage like that. And the World Expo, because the Expo City, right? If I'm sure you've been there or you know about it, because I'm pretty sure it still exists. I was performing at the USA Pavilion. That was crazy. I did like 6 shows, and then I went to Sharjah. I was in Sharjah, and I went to the University of Sharjah, and then I went to Abu Dhabi. So I was all over. I was all over the UAE. But yeah, that was a super awesome experience. And it feels weird too because I'm transitioning right now into tech, which is, I don't know if that's why anybody like jumped into this, but it's because I'm trying. I don't want to say trying because I have to change my vocabulary with things. Is that I am developing a platform called wingrants.io, right? And let me show it to you guys. Yeah. So this is what I'm building. This is a platform called wingrants.io. Like, I'm really about to change the game when it comes to grants because I am a solo founder. I'm a solo entrepreneur. And I don't know about any of y'all inside of this chat. But I do this by myself. Ain't nobody here, except the bird that's on top of my camera right now. But like, it's on me. I gotta be the marketer. I gotta be the project manager. I gotta be the fundraiser. And it's like sometimes, sometimes I really have to sit back because I know I've developed a lot of skills in order for me to be, to maintain some level of success. But I don't think every person who builds a business needs to know every single aspect of grants. Like, you don't need to know, you got strengths. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you got strengths. And it's like, I feel like I really could make something that if put into the hands of a solo entrepreneur, where it's like you don't got the time, you don't really know how to like apply for a grant, where it's like I can actually show you how to win it. You know, like of course you still got to put in the effort. You know, there's nothing that I'm going to show you if you at my page because you think I can make this easy for you. I suggest you leave now because I can't make it. I can make it easier. You know what I mean? I can make it easier, but there's definitely still gonna have to be effort on your behalf just because you have to be able to tell your story. But it's like if I can give I'll give you this product and this thing is going to completely, right? Completely change the way that you look at grants, right? And like not just grants, but anything that you're applying for because I'm applying for an accelerator program right now, you know? I'm constantly thinking to myself, if I ever want to do anything, right? I am thinking a few things. How can I do this without spending any of my own money? Any of my own money for anything. I don't want to spend my own money. I don't got no money to spend. Let's be clear. Okay? This economy is economy. Okay? But like if and I don't mean just I don't have what I may not have all of the money I need to get something done. But what I do have is the sweat equity. Like what I have plenty of resources. I have plenty of resources at my disposal to do what I need to do. So what I do now is I go to find other people willing to also give me more resources. As an example, I wanted to build this platform to help people win grants. I'm learning like vibe coding and APIs and how to connect everything, but there are people who are far more experienced. Their strength is in building products like this. So what am I going to do? I'm going to find something that I can apply to for free. All right. Make a network, build the connection, and then also get the resources because people will focus on trying to get money for a grant. But why? If you're trying to get money, if you're trying to get any type of capital like that, why? Why are you trying to go for the capital? Ask yourself that question. Not just because, oh, I want $50,000, I want $100,000. Why are you going for the money? What are you going to buy with the money? And whatever it is you're going to buy, I dare you to find another way to get it without money. I dare you. Because the resources that I'm about to apply for in this accelerator program is arguably maybe $25,000 worth of resources because they have pro bono legal assistance. So I'm going to work on trademarking, right? And literally, I got quoted like almost over $2,000 to do that. And when I get accepted to this program, go ahead and talk into the universe. When I get accepted to this program, this is included. This is included, right? Marketing is included. And these people have also built, right, companies that have gone on to raise millions in funding. So what else do they have? A network. Can somebody tell me what a network is? Your net worth. Okay? That's what it is. I ain't got no tech founders in here. As I have mentioned, the room is empty. No disrespect to you, Bird. But I'm trying to meet them. All right. This program is 10 weeks long, which means I could literally, right, come into the program. I already have the prototype. And once I go in with the prototype, there is like 2 weeks that I have to go to Austin, which I am going to have to probably front out of pocket. But don't think I won't ask. Don't think I won't ask. And also don't think I wouldn't try to find a grant that's going to help pay, that's going to pay for that trip. All right. But we're going to have that conversation later. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, if you can't find the money, can you find the resources that you would use the money on? Excuse me, and have that thing. You know what I mean? You know, shout out to you, Miss Parker. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. All right, so this application is actually pretty extensive, which is why I wanted to start here. So I'm gonna go through the application questions. There is a few of them. And if you guys weren't on yesterday, I'm going to show you something real quick. And this is like what my platform does and why this is going to revolutionize the game for anybody who's applying for anything, right? This is what it does. I just showed you, like, throughout this thing, you've been looking at the page of the grant, right? There's so much information on this grant. There's things that you could read about. There's, the people who have won in the past. There's all the about me's of the program and learning about the foundation, all those things like that. Yeah, of course. You going through this would arguably take you hours to do. But Pete, that completely changes with my platform. And I literally will take the URL of the grant or the accelerator program, whatever I'm applying to. I put it into my platform, and this is what I get: an entire dashboard that shows me everything I need to know on how to strategically position myself as the best applicant possible. At the top, we got the basics, okay? Who's qualified, what your company needs to do. This is all the eligibility criteria. We keep this at the top just so you know, okay, do you meet the minimum requirements? You know what I'm saying? Are you a US based company? Are you over the age of 18? You know the deal. You do that, okay? And look at this. What are they looking for in a founder? It lets you know. Like, my report lets you know that the growth mindset, a coachable disposition, big vision. And we go into depth about, and these are things that I look for. And that's why I'm showing it to other people, because part of me wonders if I should, you know what I mean? Like, you really got to take it and run. You got to run the play. But I also don't know if I want to tell you to play. But if you on the live, you going to get it. Because again, you're early on. I don't even think there's a lot of people in here. I think there's only like 5. So just don't tell nobody. Okay. But I want to know when I go to apply for something. I'm like, yo, what do they really want? What are their desires? What are their fears? What are their anxieties? What are the things that keep them up at night? What drives them? Because I know that if you came to me talking about, dreams and coming from a single family home and being a first generation, if your family's from the Caribbean, all those things, if you say that to me, what am I going to do? I'm going to resonate with you. Because now you speak in my language. Now I feel like you understand me more. You know what I mean? We connect with each other better. And in order for you to not just write a good application, but determine whether or not you are the person that they want, you need to understand what it is that they actually desire. Full breakdown. Right here is the judging intelligence. So these are the 2 people who run the organization, the CEO and the founder. Right, both of them here. And I literally, it's a breakdown. Like, it goes through their LinkedIn profiles. It goes through YouTube if they have any, like interviews and things like that. Look at it. This person is a 20-year veteran over at Dell. They've led over $250 million in enterprise revenue. This person got some, backing behind them. It even shows me vocabulary that would resonate with this particular person. Narrative structures that resonate with this person. Frame your business as an economic argument, not a sympathy argument. Right? They built this organization on the thesis that inclusive innovation produces better economic outcomes. Mirror that frame back to him. You see what I'm saying? That's strategy. That is strategy. People right now are spending 20, 30, 50, $200 a month just to get a list of grants, just to get a list of things to apply for. They don't even tell you how to win it. They don't even tell you how to win. They just give you the list. That's it. They be like, hey, there's an accelerator program. Here's the link. Go apply. And then what do you do with that? Because now you got to look at it and be like, all right, well, how am I going to, what do I got to say? Or what are they looking for? Whatever. This is like, just like how you got to go for a job. You can't just give the one resume for everything. You got to tailor it. And depending on how much these grants are, my first grant that I ever won, I'm out here like pointing to the back of me, and I don't know if I got bird. Hey, bird feather. How long has bird feather been there? Y'all ain't saying nothing. Yeah, just out here got my bird feather all bird. You can't. That's right there. You see that? This right here? Yeah, that's Milo. I'm kind of letting her rock, because if I don't, she's gonna start wilding. Because if she hear me in here, you talking about I got energy. If I got all this energy in here and she ain't a part of it, she always be feeling some type of way. But almost lost my train of thought, bird. Yeah, I know. I love you. Love you too, bird. But yeah, you got to mirror that content back to them. You gotta mirror yourself, and that's what's going to set you apart. That's what's going to set you apart. And people aren't teaching you how to do that. People are not teaching you how to win grants. Now, I don't have a 100% success rate, and I wouldn't believe anybody who does. Don't believe nobody who try and sell you no lottery ticket. I lose. I lose like everybody else lose. The only difference is because the only difference with me is that I have platforms like the one that I'm making right now, and I, which means I can take more shots. And if you do grants, it's a law of the numbers. You know, 2 books for $1,200. That's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah. Yeah. And you don't know if they outdated. You don't know if they connected to you. You don't know if they relevant. People pay right now just to get a list of grants, but they don't tell you how to win them. They don't give you the strategy on how to win. That's how we changing the game. All right, let me get into this application because I got to do some portion of this because I got only a half hour before I want to go for a bike ride. And I know that's like in comparison to like filling out the application, but I've also told myself I really got to get I got to balance, self-care is crucial. So it's like you be in this room, you do what you need to do. All right, cool. All right, so let's go for the problem that I am solving. What are we going to make? How far along are you? Any traction? Speaking of traction, by the way, I'm showing traction by showing them how many people sign up for the wait list. So if you are on here, right now, please sign up for the wait list. Please sign up for the wait list. Because that's how I'm going to be showing them that people are like really interested in the platform. Just go to that website, wingrants.io. Wingrants.io. You click that, and you'll be able to sign up for the platform. And this is, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If you know, you know. And I'm telling you right now, if there are people who are applying for grants that are using my platform and you're not, you're cheating yourself. You're cheating yourself. You're cheating yourself. This is an unfair advantage. I want my platform to be so good that the people who run these things or whatever, they're going to have to include me in the excluded. They're going to be like, all right, we're going to have to give it to everybody. It's not fair that only it's not fair that only this person knew about it. Yeah, whatever. That's the type of job I'm trying to make. I want to make something where they're gonna have to send me. They're gonna have to reach out to Queena. You can't just be giving them that. Oh, that's not fair. It's not. They got the answers. You showed them. You know what I'm saying? You out here showing them the. Yeah, yes, I am. Yes, I am. You want to know why? Because these institutions, them nonprofits or the bigger businesses that be running at millions of dollars, they spend a lot of money for grant writers and platforms to give them intelligence that this one still don't got. Still don't got. Nah. Nope. Unfair advantage. That's what I want. That's what I want. And I also want to build, I want to build for nonprofits too. You know what I mean? Because that's where I'm also coming from. Like I worked for a nonprofit and, they got my heart. They got my heart for sure. And it's because then the nonprofits that I've worked for are pretty small, Talk to me. Everybody who's in the chat, what are you doing? Are you nonprofits? Are you small businesses? Are you artists? You know what I mean? Like where are you at in the realm? Because I know everybody looking for bread. Everybody looking for. Did I put it in? I think I put it in here. Yeah, how to win anything. I'm literally, not only am I on live right now, but I am actively trying to post another video on my Instagram, which I should really have. I should really automate the process. I haven't fully systematized my drawings yet. I'm little by little. I'm getting there. I'm trying. Okay, hold on. What are we gonna call this? Fellowships and residencies, and you want to win them? I'm about to blow your mind. Peep this. Okay. I'm out here because I use the edits app. So I'm like, I don't even know what I'm gonna put as the thing on there. Oh, that's fire. We got some nonprofit owners. Okay. That's fire. Nonprofit is I feel like it's a good play, a good choice. It just it takes a really clear understanding about what it is and who you're serving. If you want to apply to grants, fellowships, and residencies and you want to win them, I'm about to blow your I'm about to blow. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna put mind blown like emojis and we're gonna see how this one does. Grants, fellowships, and residencies, and you want to win them, I'm about to blow. Want to win them, I'm about to blow your mind. Peep this. Let's say for an example, right? Peep this. Let's say for an example, right? We have this grant. This is and paste the link, and then we're gonna go over here, click analyze, and once we do, I think I'm gonna put captions on this too. Every piece of data about that funder to get a comprehensive. Yes. Okay, sweet. Aquatic director. I can't swim. I am a stereotype. Oh my goodness, I cannot swim. I don't know if anybody else in the chat can swim, but I am not one of them. I am not one of them. I wanted to, though. I wanted to. There have been multiple times I wanted to learn. Oop. Good job. And this, by the way, is my species. She's real. Hi, species. Look, the internet can see you now. You are, in fact, alive. Alive, you little bug. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. I'll put her back up there. All right. That's where she liked to be. She's found great comfort. She's found great comfort up there. But I don't think I'm not I'm not terrified of being in the water. Like I'll definitely be in a pool. I just can't be somewhere where my feet can't touch the water. Not touch the water, touch the ground. You know what I'm saying? And I could kind of swim underwater, but this. And someone told me 2 days like, oh yeah, nah, within one day you could learn how to float. Like if you dedicate one day you could learn how to swim. I was like, what? But it give me a little bit of hope when I be seeing people who 94 and they be, swimming because they like, nah, it don't matter how old your bones can wither away and you can still swim. And that give me a little bit of hope because I'm like, you know what? If they could do it, if they could do it, I should be able to, I should be able to handle this. If you want to apply to grants, fellowships, and residencies, and you want to win them, I'm about to blow your mind. Peep this. Let's say for an example, right? We have this grant. This is the famous Amos Ingredients for Success grant. It's $50,000 for small businesses, open until June of 2026. I'll put some more information in the caption for you to apply. But here's the trick. We're going to go over to the top. We're going to copy and paste the link, and then we're going to go over to my website that I'm developing called wingrants.io. We're going to go here, click analyze. And once we do that, it's going to analyze every piece of data that is on the internet about that funder to get a comprehensive profile on who they are. And guess what comes out? An entire dashboard. The research time is less than 60 seconds now. The longest process of the writing is gone. And you get to actually understand the insights, learn about what is a successful application. And if we even go down, lucky for us, they've included information about the judges on the page. Peep this. We can learn who they are, where they are, check out their social media pages, the language that resonates with them, the language signals that are effective. And even here, there is a set of words that you should include in your application based off of their data, and then words that you should avoid because it indicates that you are not the person they're looking for. Tell me that ain't why. Listen, I know I'm trying to get it out to you. It's not open to the public just yet, but if you want to join the waitlist, all you have to do is comment the word win and send this over to somebody who needs a competitive advantage because we about to go crazy this year. If you want to apply to grants, fellowships, and okay, I'm gonna put it right here. Comment win. For early access. I got to figure out another way to make the process of content quicker because these days these days uh and like the research time is like they are. And guess what? Higher dashboard. Like the research time is like less than. See, it's easier to teach somebody who's 2 years old though, because they don't fear death. Not not in the same way. They ain't been. I think that's what makes learning how to swim in your adult life difficult because you're aware of your mortality. So that's what it is. Um, but yeah, glad that you're locked in. Glad that you're here because very soon I'm gonna be out here traveling and helping more people win and succeed. Make it quicker as in terms of like the process of research. So I was showing everybody that this is the Accelerator program that I want to apply for, and just think about the process. Like if you found a grant, what happens? You find the link for the opportunity, and what's the first thing you do? You read the grant page, and then you probably want to know more about the organization. Try to vet to see if it's real. So you got to read their about me section, maybe even learn about who owns the organization and what they're doing and whether or not you're eligible if you have the shot to win. And then you got to look at the application, determine whether or not you're going to actually apply for it, and if you're going to invest the time. All of that research process, that is going to be completely shifted with my product because boom, you would literally just whatever grant that you were applying to, or I'm applying for an accelerator program in this scenario. If it was a fellowship or a residency program, you would just copy and paste the link into wingrants.io. In 60 seconds, it would scour the entire page. It would go through every page of the website. It would go to their social media pages. It'll go through news articles, anything, public data. I go through, there's probably like a 12 stack search process that it goes through to acquire all of the information, not just on the grant, but on the organization. Why is it important for you to know that? Because instead of you trying to guess what it is you should write about or what they're looking for in those answers, now, boom, here. You know what I mean? Look, right here, I already know everything, like all the basics that I need to know about the people who own the organization. I know here about, let's see what else we got going on in my report. Because do I have the I think I have funding patterns. So boom, alumni patterns, right? So these are the type of companies that they funded in the past. So I also know that in this time they were doing a lot of platforms that were identity based. This one was social impact. They did a lot of AI traction. And this year it looks like they have some like CPG inside of their ideas, but they want mainly tech companies for the products that they're going for right now. And it lets me know what selected founders share, what gets rejected. What are the things that are like, oh, these are, going to be things. A big thing is that they need to make sure that you can commit to the 25 to 30 hours a week. It's going to be for the entire length of the accelerator program, you know? So that's the thing about it. It's like, uh, you got to be able to I know that when I write my application, I am going to address the things that they fear, or I'm going to address the things that need to stand out. That's what I mean by that. You know what I mean? What up, Space? What up, Nick? I don't even know. I'm like, I call you Space because it's just like, it's just the name that shows up on here. But I'm like, yeah, you Nick. You know what I'm saying? And how early is early access is a great question. I have a working prototype right now, right? It's a working prototype. But the thing about tech products is that, like, I have to kind of prepare for contingencies. One, I don't know where you live. Let me know. Drop into the comments where you live. And the reason I say that is because I have folks who are overseas. So what happens when you put in an international grant? If it's not in English, what happens then? Or, how do I tier the product to make sure that people, have certain layers of access, all those kind of things. So early access, I'd probably say, depending on if I can get into this accelerator, that's why I'm applying to this program. I'm applying to this program so that I could be around more people to help expedite the process for me to get this out to the public. Because it's not a free product, and I don't want anybody to come out here paying for it and it don't work the way that you want it to work. Like, you know what I mean? You put in the grant and then it's like, oh, it gave me nothing. And that's also another thing too, because some grants just have more data. Some places just have more data than others. So what if somebody puts a grant in there from their local church? I can't, you know what I'm saying? How much am I going to find on Google about, the local AME St. John Baptist of the Third? I might only be able to get just a little bit of, a little bit of sauce, but I'm trying to figure out, what do I do in those circumstances? That's the educations I'm trying to figure out. I'm still trying to figure out how to promote it, how to price it, the whole nine. I just know that this is what I use. This is what I use to get me a competitive advantage. And I want to give it to other people, but I got to make sure that it works. Got to make sure that it works. And one of the ways I do that, by the way, and I know, like, early access, I'm going to say this program is 12 weeks long. So with the grace of God, when I finish this MVP, by the time I leave the program, that would mean that early access would start in June. That would mean in June, fingers crossed though, because, I'm still working on a prototype. Maybe we could, that May is a stretch. June, let's look for the summertime. You know what I'm saying? That's summertime bread. Don't even worry about it. But the other thing too is that the more people that I have on that wait list is the better leverage I have to talk to these venture firms or these software developers to help me get this done. The reason why I'm thinking it's going to take so long is because I'm not with the coding. You know what I'm saying? I got a little bit of sauce on AI, but I ain't with the coding. I'm just trying to put my brain inside of a product so that people can, buy it and use it. So if you know a developer that can make this happen quicker, you feel me? But again, I also, I'm doing this too because I want to do this without having to spend my own money. All right, let me make sure I get this thing in here, but for sure, click that button, get early access, join the wait list. Because if I could tell these people, like, yo, there are, I got 500 people right now that are trying to win. I got 500 people right now that's trying to win. There is a paying customer right here that's willing to come onto this platform and really change the way that they do stuff. You know what I'm saying? What up, Soulful? What up, Soulful? I'm trying, and this, mind you, this all started with poetry, bro. This all started with poetry. It's crazy, man. When I tell you, I started doing grants and I started applying to programs because I dropped out of college, and my mama from Jamaica. She ain't come to this country for me to drop out of college, but I dropped out of college and I was like, nah, I just want to be an artist. I want to be a creative. And in order for me to make money doing that, I had to figure it out. So I started trying to find every opportunity to make bread. So the first grant I ever got was for $100,000 for me to become a professional poet. That was the first grant I ever got, and that was in 2020. So for the last 6 years, that's like, as soon as I got that bread, I said, what is this? You telling me I can apply and I start using all the other skills that I got, right? Because if you see what I got going on here, I got the cameras, I know how to design, I know how to make websites. I was doing all of this. Every skill was I learned it because I didn't have the bread to pay other people to do it, and I wanted to be a professional artist. So I had to get a camera and learn how to use it. I had to, get my Canva and learn how to move things around. I had to get Adobe, and you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I think about it now because it's like all those things just they all play into exactly what I'm doing. And I've recently made that transition because it's like, yo, I really want to help more artists out, you know? I really want to help some more artists out because there's a pathway to it. And it's just we just got to know how to win. That's it. We just got to know how to win. You got all these other people who got a playbook. Don't nobody tell you ain't no syllabus for being an artist. Ain't no syllabus, you know what I'm saying? For being an artist. Here's the thing. When you say I need a grant for poetry, the first grant that I got, this $100,000 grant was not $100,000 grant for poets. It was not. It was $100,000 for a dreamer. That was what it was. Right? It was called Day Job to Dream Job. That was what it was. And the only reason why I say that, the only reason why I acknowledge that is because everything I applied for, all the opportunities I applied for, it didn't say, oh, we're trying to give this money to a poet. That's not. I'm gonna let you know, I'm gonna say something from my heart and my soul. I don't know if you feel this, Soulful, but I'm gonna tell you something for real. All right. You're not gonna make that serious bread with poets. You're not gonna make that bread inside of an open mic. You're not gonna make it doing the $50 or $150 feature, bro. You're not gonna make it. You're not the bread that I'm trying to. You're not gonna build generational wealth. This just it's statistically difficult for you to do that in the poetry community. But you know where you can make that bread? The campaigns that I did with CBS. I did 3 campaigns with CBS, and then I got hired by the CDC to do 3 years of campaigns during COVID. Bread. I mean thousands. Thousands of dollars. I didn't make anything on that Emmy campaign. I did. It was an Emmy award winning campaign, so I can say that like, hey, I wrote for an Emmy award winning campaign. But the first campaign I ever did, I didn't get paid for it. But they ended up connecting me with the CDC, and that's how I was able to make bread, right? Because where did I go? Ain't no poets inside of them boardrooms. You know what I'm saying? And when I went to the World Expo, right over here at the end, when I went to Dubai for the World Expo, I was the poet that was there. They were taking, folk artists and, I don't even know. They had like the people on like TV and stuff like that. Nah, I was literally talking to them like, do you understand how powerful the words are to an expression of the American culture? I was in that. See, I told you y'all was going to see that bird. Yeah. I did poetry in Dubai. That was the first time I ever went overseas. Was Dubai. But mind you, I want you to look up a word. I want you to look this up. I'm gonna drop it in. I'm gonna drop it in the chat. There we go. It's there, right? Cultural diplomacy. I want you to look into that. I hope that showed up. Did it? Because I can't see it on mine. Did it? Yeah, poets can't fund poets. They don't call them struggling artists for no reason. And I ain't trying to struggle. That's just not in my. That isn't not for what I got going on. Okay, you got it. I bet. So I say look up cultural diplomacy, and cultural diplomacy was my key to traveling the world as an artist. I said I wanted to do that, right? When I left college, I was like, yo, I want to travel the world. I want to be an artist. I want to be a poet. I want to perform on stages. How am I going to do that? Okay. Mind you, I ain't wait for nobody. I ended up finding out about cultural diplomacy. Cultural diplomacy is when you are you contract with the U.S. Department of State and represent the United States overseas at humanitarian or humanities and like arts exhibitions that they have. Because think about it, so they hired me, right? They hired me to go to the World Expo in Dubai, right? The World Expo is the world's fair. Like I was performing at the City Rocket stage. That John was like it was a literal rocket ship. It was the mock-up of the Falcon 9 from SpaceX. And they paid, mind you, flight, hotel, transportation, food, everything. And then they paid me. You know what I'm saying? And then they paid me to be out there for, I was there for 2 weeks. I was there for 2 weeks, right? And then they set up the entire tour. So I did 6 shows at the World Expo at the City Pavilion, right? So I did 2 shows a day for 3 days. Or 6 shows. Yeah, I think 2 shows a day, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. Then they also booked me for the United Emirates Literature Festival, which was fire because I met Gary V. He was actually there at the same time, right? Then they booked me for 2 schools, no, 3 schools. I was at the University of I was at the University of Sharjah, the American School of Abu Dhabi, and then I went to NYU Abu Dhabi. Yeah. So I did 3 schools while I was out there. And then of course like the excursions and things like that. So that's what I mean. Cultural diplomacy is a little different with this administration, but I'm not saying it's not possible because I did Dubai and then I did Costa Rica in 2024 and then I went back to Costa Rica in 2025, all of which I did in cultural diplomacy initiatives. Right? That's how I was able to travel. And that right there is a hack. That right there is a hack. I will say though that it's just simply because of like how the administration is now, cultural diplomacy looks a bit different. Especially in 2026 because this is 2050. That's the biggest thing on cultural diplomacy radar this year. So I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to do. And 250, by the way, is like the 250th anniversary of the United States. So like that that's a big funding initiative this year versus like just artists going overseas. And then I don't know if you know this, but I ran Verse Rising and I took 2 poets with me, 3 artists. I took a filmmaker and 2 poets with me to Costa Rica to do their first international residency program. I want to run another residency, and I really had the debate this year because I was like, am I going to build this platform or am I going to run another Verse Rising residency? And I love poets. I will do it, but I'm going to hold off this year because I'm like, I got to get this bread, and when I become a tech millionaire, I'll make sure that I just fund the program myself. Where can I find your writing work? And writing, do you mean poems? I'm gonna be honest with you. So if you're talking about my poems, you can find plenty of my performances on YouTube. I did a TEDx talk. I did I got poems on YouTube. I got poems on my Instagram page too, if you want to check it out. But like the page, I don't write for the page. I write for the stage. I'm a slam poet. I don't have no books of poetry. The only books I've ever written was about how to get funded. That's it. I swear to you, this is the only books I ever written. Right here. I just released this one. This is my second book. I actually should have my first one, but it's in storage and I'm going to grab my first one. But this is my book. It's called Fund Your Vision. It's the complete funding guide for those doing it alone. And it gives you the entire breakdown. So if you want to check out any of my poetry, I'm super fire. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram. But if you want to see that in like written form, nah, not really. I don't think so. I don't think I have it written anywhere. I ain't got no blog posts and nothing like that. Nah, folks had to see me. hmm I'm talking so much, my breakfast got cold. Notice I said breakfast. It's almost 5 o'clock. I don't know how to act when I get in this room. I don't know how to act. But yeah, cultural diplomacy is the way. All right, let me actually, because I'm talking to y'all so much, I didn't get this thing out. Wingrants.io. We're going to go here, click analyze. And once we do that, it's going to analyze every piece. I'm trying to get as many people as I can to sign up for early access, because when I go to apply for these programs, that's how I'm able to show traction. How long have I been posting, period? Oh. If you were talking about like in general, man, I picked up a camera when I was 13. I think I made my Instagram when I think I made my Instagram in 2012. So I've been posting for years. What I will say though is that if you know, in terms of like right now, like I started posting February 25th. Like in the terms of like growth happened, it was February 25th. February 25th is when I posted and I wouldn't even say that. I started posting a week prior to that. It was like a week prior to that. I just moved into this apartment. I spent the entire month of January building this office. And when I tell you, you see this office, it look beautiful. My living room, empty. Empty. I ain't buying no sofa. I didn't buy no nothing. It's empty. I could do backflips inside of my living room. You know what I'm saying? But I spent the entire month of January building this studio, painting the walls, creating the things on there, getting plant everything, right? And then in February, I was like, I'm gonna go all in on creating content. I'm gonna help more people. You know, this is what I'm gonna do. Let's go all in. So I started the week before, and then February 25th, I had a video. I say go viral, and because in terms of like, I never had a video, and that video got like over 300,000 views when I was talking about how I win grants. And it was like I was, you know, I doubled down on that. And then I just started getting vulnerable about the process of me shifting my identity, because I'm really trying to let go of a poverty mindset. And it's hard for me to admit that I have one, because I think that I'm an abundant person, but I also know that I have tendencies that are connected to just like, you know, a lower standard of living, you know, and I got to remove those where I got doubt, like, oh, is somebody going to actually buy this book? Or, you know, can I actually charge that much? Are they going to pay that much? Like, you know, there's just things where I had to like really let go of it. And I think that's what I've been vulnerable about that online. And then that went viral too. In fact, I don't know if you hear from that convo with a millionaire, but that video ended up 3 times the amount of views than my grant stuff, because people was like, "Yo, I feel you." I'm like, "Yeah, you know how hard it is." Because I don't know who teaches you that. Who on earth teaches you your value? Piece of data that is on the internet about that funder to get a comprehensive profile on who they are. And guess what comes out? An entire on who they are. And guess what comes out? All you have to do is comment the word win and send this over to somebody who needs a competitive advantage, because we about to go crazy this year. If you want to apply to grants, hi, how are you? I hope you're well. I'm trying to build an empire. And you want to win them, I'm about to blow your mind. If you want to apply to grants, fellowships, and residencies, I'm just gonna do. Mm, edit. I think I want to do this in yellow so that it stands out. And let's do classic. If you want to apply to grants, fellowships, and residencies, and you want to win them, I'm about to blow your mind. Okay. I'm really be testing out these titles and drawings on my videos. I really be testing out. We are it's crazy. Like, what are we discussing here? What's going on over here? I am actually applying for a tech accelerator program. I say applying for, but I've spent the last hour just talking to people. It's hard balancing streaming and work. And I'm also trying to post my next reel. But I'm developing a platform that helps people win more opportunities. And it's going to completely revolutionize grant funding. So I am applying for an accelerator program so that I could build the MVP of the product and start getting users and, go off to not only make $1 million, but then help other people make millions too. So, regular Wednesday, just a normal Wednesday. All right, I'm gonna get this video. I'm gonna get this joint out. I'm gonna get this video out and then I'm gonna hop off because I want to go for a bike ride. Right? What's the temperature? Yeah, I'm gonna go for a bike ride. And then I'm actually gonna have to work on this grant tonight. All right, cool. Export. Export. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if you want to get early access to the platform, it's wingrants.io. Wingrants.io. And then you can get access. If you see at any point a little head, that is Milo. That is Milo, my loving baby bird, who has now repositioned herself to be directly in the lane. Uh, okay, comment when to get early access. And that is Milo. Milo bird. Milo bird. Oh, I think I also have a call. I do. I have a call. I have a call at 5:30 though. All right, I'm taking that outside. I don't care. That's also one of the things too. When you start being a content creator and this is start what you doing or whatever, bruh. I'll be out here living however I want to live. Cause it's like when I had a job, and I say when, because it's been a little while since I've like worked a 9 to 5 for real. But like when I was like working, like I had to like be somewhere for work, or like if I did remote, I'd be like, dang, nah, I can't be outside. I gotta be in the office. I gotta nope. Now I don't care. Um, um, I'm going to just share that and set it up so that oh, thank you. I appreciate you. Because when I be going to pitch the product to people, that's what tells people like, oh, yo, you like, is there interest? Are people gonna want to like actually, um, you know, are they gonna actually want to use it? So, yay, thank you. Okay, so let me set up my auto DM because when they comment when, I want to be able to send them the link. Oh, can I actually do it for Nah, I'm gonna just do it more. Did it post? The fact that I'm gonna just publish it. All right. The fact that technology has advanced this far is so awesome. All right, bet. Yep. Enable. And then when they comment and then update. Bet. Cool. Okay, so thank you. I appreciate that. And I will enjoy my bike ride. For anybody else who's inside of this live, I was gonna go through doing the application. Turns out I was actually just here to kiki with you guys real quick. But I am going to hop off my bike ride, my therapy session. I will be back online tonight at 8 p.m. So I'll be online between 8 and 11 in order for me to actually complete the application. So I'm going to do it with the, right here on here, just so I could show you guys how I write my responses, how I'm going to use my platform to strategically get an advantage to win. So if you're interested, just hop back onto my live later on tonight. If not, all good. And yeah, I really appreciate every single one of you for hopping in. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.